Okay, so I'm ready to move on to the next stage, installing the microcontroller. I will have to actually install the LCD. I thought I could get away without doing it, but then I remembered that the first thing you do is you select the band on the and you have to see what's going on to be able to select the band. So I will have to install the LCD. Installing the microcontroller is pretty straightforward. It's socketed. You put a socket in, and there's this power circuitry associated with that. There's a few bits and pieces to install with the for the SI5351. The chip itself is already installed on the board, but you do have to install these two diodes, and this basically drops 5 volts down to 3.3, which is what this chip requires, and some associated resistors there. And then finally over to the Taylor detector part of the board. This is already installed. That's the FST3253. And then what I will do is install these caps here, these 4 resistors here. And then once we have the LCD, the microcontroller, the frequency synthesizer, and this all set up, we'll be able to inject an RF signal down here, and we should see the I and the Q products coming out here. Actually, you'll see this one will be 0 degrees, this will be 180 degrees, 90 degrees, and 270 degrees, and we'll be able to see that in the on the oscilloscope. So quite a bit to install. It's all pretty straightforward though, so I'll get on with that, and then we'll come back when it's all installed. Just thought I'd pause on this one. I'm actually installing the LCD here, and the trick to doing it is you basically you don't solder any of this in. Well, first note, the two middle pins aren't connected here. But as far as actually soldering this down, firstly you get it all lined up like this, so none of this is soldered here. You use one of these posts to fix it down, and then when you're happy with where everything is, then you actually go ahead and solder all the connections. So that way you don't get a misalignment of this portion here. Alrighty, I'll get on with kind of soldering the rest of this, and we'll come back. Just an additional piece of information. I thought I'd just walk through all the additional components I had to install for the microcontroller to work. It was quite a bit more than I had originally anticipated, so I think it's worth walking through that. So on the synthesizer itself, there is this filter cap here, the 27 megahertz crystal for the synthesizer, these two voltage dropping diodes, and then 2 1K pull-up resistors here. On the microcontroller, there's all this filtering power circuitry that has to be installed here. Moving over onto the LCD, you have a resistor that goes between the 12 volt supply and the backlight. So that's a 27 ohm resistor there. You have the contrast display here, and then you have another resistor, 3.3K resistor here. And then finally, just panning over, one of the other parts that I needed to install is these 2 pull-up resistors here, the 2 switches, S1 and S2 that are at the bottom, and then the rotary encoder, which goes here, and this 10K resistor. So a little bit more than I had originally anticipated. I do hasten to mention these 2 resistors here around the frequency counter output too. So that's what I had to install in addition. I kind of walked through the installation of the LCD, but that's where we are. So I did actually power this up beforehand just to check, and it does appear to be working. So if we plug this guy in, there we go, it's up and running. I did have to select the 20 meter band there. So what I'll do now is I'll just check some of the outputs on the synthesizer, make sure I'm getting that 14.020 signal out of the synthesizer, and that'll be next. So I'm ready to test the output of the synthesizer. There's actually 2 test points for clock 0 and clock 1, and just panning down to the board. So clock 0, and clock 1 are right here and here. Now, one of the things you have to be careful with when you're probing around the synthesizer is you've got to make sure you don't short out the clocks. If you short out the clocks, it apparently will destroy it. I've never done it myself, but apparently that's what happens. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll probe clock 0. You can see the results on the oscilloscope there. So clock 0 and clock 1 both go to the FST3253, and they are the signals, the LO signals in Quadrature. So let me just carefully probe that. And if you can have a look up on the oscilloscope there, we got 14.0196 megahertz. So that's one of the things. The kit actually comes with the potential to connect a GPS module to it, so you can have that GPS disciplined. I do believe the LO is a little bit out here, so that's that. So anyway, that appears to be working. So as I change the frequency, that should go up. So I'm up at 14.025, and you can see there 14.0246. You can just about see that on the oscilloscope. So I'm getting a signal out of the synthesizer. That's all good. So that means the microcontroller is all working, what we can do now is move on to actually injecting a signal and checking out the I and the Q outputs. Now, one of the things, once you've got it set up, you don't need the LCD there, so you can sort of take it out of the way. It gives you a bit more room on the board to see what's going on. But anyway, I'll move on to the next step of checking out the Quadrature sampling detector. I'll have to install a few more caps and resistors in order for that part to be fully there, but that's next. Okay, so the caps and the resistors in the Quadrature sampling detector are installed. I haven't installed both the op amps just yet, and I'll do that in a subsequent step. But as before, I'm injecting a signal right here at the source of that VS170, the Q5 FET. And then I am probing at points pin 3 of IC5 and pin 5 of IC5. Now, note IC5 itself isn't actually installed. So let me just pan over to that setup there so you can see it. So here's where I'm injecting the signal. You can see it's going under the board there to where Q5 is. And then here is the yellow trace on the scope, pin 3. And here is the purple trace on the scope, pin 5. So I currently have the receiver on 14.020.8. I have my signal generator injecting a signal at 14.020 at half a volt. And then let's look at the resulting I and Q signals on the oscilloscope. So as you can see, two signals here. The yellow lead, the I signal, is trailing the Q signal. And note also that the actual frequency of this is the audio frequency. So in this direct conversion receiver, we are mixing 14.020.8, roughly, you saw it was a little bit out, with the 14.020 signal from the signal generator, and we're actually getting signals at baseband. So the thing about this is, though, currently my received signal is below the local oscillator. And you'll see, note here the purple trace is leading the yellow trace. You'll see as I adjust upwards, you'll see now the yellow trace is leading the purple trace. Let me do that once more. So I'll adjust down. Purple is leading yellow when I am below the frequency. Sorry, when the LO is above the frequency, and adjusting upwards. Now the received frequency is above the LO and the traces have swapped. They're still 90 degrees apart, but they've swapped. And that's basically the mechanism, that phase difference is basically the mechanism with which an IQ style receiver allows it to discriminate between an upper sideband signal and a lower sideband signal. So basically we have the Quadrature sampling detector is working. The next step will be to install the op-amp. I'll just pan down there. I'll install the op-amp, the only remaining op-amp IC5. This associated circuitry here, this is a preamp that goes into the phase shift network. It gives about a gain of about, 10 over 100, so whatever that is, 1,000, gain of 1,000 there. So that's to come. And then what we should be able to do is inject that signal in and hear the output through the speakers. So that's next in the process. Okay, the op-amp at IC5 is installed. This is where it goes here. We've been using this to probe quite a bit, and the associated resistor and capacitor installed. And we're injecting a signal, as before, from the signal generator. This time, obviously, a much lower level because we're going through the complete the preamps and so on and so forth. So I'm injecting that at minus 80 dBm. At 14.02090, and I think you can hear, just about hear that there. So let's turn the volume up a little bit, and let me adjust the frequency. You can see that's what we're receiving. And also you can just hear the, let me just turn that up. Let's see if we can hear the lower sideband there. Can't quite hear the other sideband. So that's some pretty good rejection straight away. Let me adjust the frequency on the the signal generator. Sorry. So that's basically. Let me turn the volume down a bit. So that's basically the complete receiver chain, with the exception of the low-pass filter and that RX-TX switch FET that I'll now install. Now, the other thing I can't actually do, as I mentioned before, there is some software in the microcontroller that allows you to test the I and the Q balance, the phase shift, and so on and so forth. I need to install the transmitter, more of the transmitter side of the circuitry in order to enable that. The way the software works is it actually injects a signal into the receive path in order to do the adjustment. So I can't do that right now. That's what I'll be setting up next though, because I do want to actually see that that part of the configuration menu. So anyway, what I will do though is wrap this video up. I think that's the microcontroller all installed, and then we can move on to the next step, which is kind of finalizing the transmitter part of this, and then doing the final IQ balance and phase shift testing.